Hello, welcome. I see a Polybot has been sneak starting the stream, which is good. How are you? Should be roughly 9 seconds delay. I thought we should just do some, just a casual Blender stream today. And my idea is to just go through a bunch of different tutorial topics. Because I get so many requests for tutorials. So I'm thinking, let's just try and gather it in one video, you know? Probably not going to be possible. Excuse me. But the idea is that if you just leave your tutorial requests in the... Oh, insert ads. Nope. If you're watching this in the future, by the way, the timeline on the video with the chapters will have like one tutorial for each. That's the goal, at least. So yeah, how are you doing? Yeah, greetings from Norway. Nice. Okay, so we have 12 viewers, I think. I'm not really sure. Hang on, let me just quickly check if this is actually showing up on YouTube. It's a very professional stream, I promise. Oh, so we are live on YouTube. Very nice. Look at that. Okay. Good. Let me see some tutorial requests, and I'll plot them into my computer and just get started. I have everything set up, so we should be ready to go. So, what would you like to see a tutorial about in Blender version 3.3? How to make cars. That would be really difficult. And geometry nodes. Let's just clear this up once and for all. I have no idea how to use geometry nodes. Just so you know that. That's out of my... Yeah, I have no idea how it works. Or I do have some understanding of it because I know how the shader editor works, but I have never tried geometry nodes. Something with drivers. Okay, that's actually a really good idea. I do have one idea for a driver. Drivers could actually be nice. Like, how do drivers work? Because it's a really under-communicated topic, I feel like. Yeah, I think drivers is a really good idea, actually. Okay, yeah, let's just get started. I can read through more of your suggestions later. Okay, so let me actually just... I made this thing so I can write the tutorial topic. So let's just... how to work with drivers in Blender. Did that work? Okay, nice. Yes. So drivers is a really nice way to convert one data value to another without too much work. It's a little bit of work, but it's quite manageable. So I actually have a really cool setup for a driver. So let's make a cube. Shift A to make a cube. And I want to turn this into... I want to twist this cube. So let's go to Modify Properties, Add Modifier, Simple Deform. And this twists the cube. So let's set it to Z-axis. And let's move it on the Z-axis by a value of 1. So G, Z, and then 1. And now if you twist this now, it's like sliding around. So you can right-click and set origin to 3D cursor. So now this twists beautifully like this. And but it's a little bit hard. This is actually for a tutorial I had planned. So let's just not try and focus too much on this. Let me just smooth this up with the subdivision surface modifier. Right-click, set the shading to smooth. And let's actually increase this so it's a little bit round. And now we can add a bevel modifier. Add modifier bevel, and let's move the bevel modifier before the subdivision. So now we're twisting this round cube. See that? Okay, very nice. So before the bevel modifier and the subdivision surface modifier, let's add a another simple deform modifier, and let's set this one to bend. Yeah, very nice. And let's move this before the bevel and the subdivision. No, perhaps let's have the bevel before. Yeah, okay, this is correct. Bevel, twist, bend, and then subdivision. That should be perfect. By the way, I think this stream should be in 1440p, so let me know how the quality is. Okay, so now what we're going to do is that we are going to look at how cool this looks. If I'm animating this twist motion, I can... Oh. I'm moving it like this, you know? Look at this. It's almost like it's looking from side to side. And then the bend modifier is almost like it's looking up and down. Perhaps the bevel should be after all. Why isn't this... Hang on. Let's do this instead. Is this better? I think this is better. So the bevel modifier has been removed and replaced with a subdivision surface modifier. So I'm realizing that it's a little bit difficult to do tutorials like on the fly, but here's what we'll be doing. Here's what we have done. We have made a cube and we have given it a subdivision surface modifier. We have given it a simple deform modifier set to twist, and this axis is Z, and then a simple deform modifier set to bend and on the x-axis. And then another subdivision surface at the bottom to just make things a little bit smoother. So now what is really cool about this is that if you view this from the front view, now you can take the bend modifier and you can move it up and down, and you can take the twist modifier and it will go sideways. So this almost looks like this is looking around. And we can use drivers to easily control this, which is really efficient. So let's reset this to 0 and 0. And let's collapse the subdivision because we will only be working with the simple deform. So now let's make a Shift A and let's make an empty object. And let's press F2 and call this driver controller. And I'm not really sure where to place this, but I want to try and place it in front. So we want to work with like whole values. So I want to place this 2 meters on the y-axis and then 2 meters on the z-axis. So I want this cube to always be pointing towards this. Let me try that again. I want to use drivers to twist this cube based on the position of this empty object. So let's right click on this line and go vertical split. And you can hold on middle mouse button if this is happening. And let's set this to drivers. And you can press N to get rid of this. That's N. So now what you want to do is you want to take the cube and under twist, under angle here, you can right click, add driver. And there's a little menu here that just shows up, but it just goes away if you move your cursor away. And you can keep on editing this driver here, but it's also just as easy to just click on the driver in the driver editor and then click on this little keyframe sort of thing. And then when you press N and bring up this panel, then you can press the driver. So here now you can access the driver panel, I guess. Oh, is that a donation? Please do something with lightning effect. Do you mean like thunder? I have to think about it. Okay, let's keep going. Because what's so cool about this is that now we can convert this empty objects or this driver controller, we can convert this motion into this specific value. So it's not a keyframe, it's sort of like a link, which is really cool. So now we are in this keyframe, now we are in this angle data block, or what it's called. And let's, in the driver property, let's go to object and let's place this on the driver controller. So now if we select the driver, you can see this is mapped to the X location. So now if you select the driver controller and press G and then X, this will rotate because, you know, it's quite conveniently used on the X-axis by default, which is really nice. So this is a really handy way to just make this much easier to animate. So now, but you can see that this is, I would like to have it a little bit geared down. It's too strong, you know? So select the cube, and then this is the expression. The amount of distance this moves on the x-axis is called var, like variable. And then the expression is variable plus 0, so you can get rid of that if you want to. And then you can just multiply it by 0.5. So now when you move it, it will move half the speed, which I think is a little bit better. Okay, nice. Now we want to link the bend to the z-axis of the driver controller. So let's do the same thing. Let's right-click on the simple deform modifier, add driver, and let's find it. There it is. It's this red one. Now let's set object. Let's take the little eyedropper data block and let's place it on the driver controller. And now you can select this empty and you can also move it on the z-axis. Or I mean on the x-axis. But we want this to be on the z-axis instead. So select the cube and change the type from x location to z location. So now this goes crazy, but that's because this starts at 2 meters. So let's set the variable to variable plus 2. No, that's minus 2, I think. Yeah, perfect. So now we can move this up and down, and we can move it sideways. And that actually makes it possible, let me show you, if I view this from here, now we can move this, and our cube is looking around, and it's being controlled with drivers, and this just plays extremely smoothly. It's an incredibly powerful way to just start animating stuff. So yeah, that's how you can use drivers to convert motion or rotation or scale or any value from one object to any other value. For example, the angle of the twist in the simple deform modifier. Ooh, okay, that's drivers, I think. Let's just try another one. Are there any more tutorial suggestions? Will this video be able to watch after stream ends? Yes, it will. It will be available in 1440p, 60 FPS, I think. Joachim, now I will make this in cinema. Nice. Perhaps I'll see you later then. Geometry nodes tutorial. Sorry, I don't know how to use geometry nodes. Are there any more tutorial suggestions that we can just get right on? So we can maybe do a bunch of different techniques during this video. Compositing. What type of compositing were you thinking? Fluid simulation. Glass tutorial. That's the next one. I'm preparing a bunch of stuff for it. Rigging. Yeah, like a basic rigging tutorial could be. I'm not super sturdy on rigging though. Compositing. Script tutorial. I have no idea what that means. Lightning effect. I understand what you mean, but I haven't really tried it, so it would involve a lot of trial and error, I think. Where are you from? I'm from Norway, but please don't write like 4 comments in a row. View layers. That's a difficult one. No, I don't want to do view layers. That's not very intuitive. Perhaps it's one of those things that they might change. I'm really just looking for things that I already know, which is probably not that good. Modeling tutorial, add-on tutorial, chain reaction machine. I'm not really sure how. I realized that I'm not really taking requests, I'm just looking for stuff that I already know, and then I can do that. But I hope that's okay, because I think that's more efficient. Space tutorial? That's actually not a bad idea. You've mentioned it earlier actually on the Discord channel. I think actually space tutorial could be, because I do have a really simple setup just to make a star. Just how to turn your world into like this space star background completely procedurally. I think that's actually quite interesting. Yeah, let's do that. That's a good suggestion. Yeah, I'm gonna have to change my topic then. How to make space. Make a scene in space. How about that? No, how to make a scene in space. I think that's good. Okay, so let's start out by. Okay, so that's a new tutorial then. Welcome to a tutorial about how to make a scene in space. So first what we want to do, we want to go to render view. So let's go to render properties and set our render engine to cycles. And let's enable GPU, which I don't have. And let's just lower the max samples to something a little bit lower, like 256. And let's set the max samples to 128. Oops. Okay, so those are sort of the render settings that I'm comfortable with default. So now let's split our viewport in half. Let's right click, vertical split. And let's change this one to shader editor. And let's get rid of this by pressing N. And now let's set this, let's set the editor type to world. By the way, how cool would it be to be able to use Control Tab to just quickly change between object and world? Because that's what we're doing in the graph editor, to change between the dope sheet and the timeline. Or dope sheet and graph editor. Yeah, anyways, I actually made a post about it on right click select. Anyways, let's make a world. Oh no, I'm gonna have to start over, hang on. Okay, so let's set this, let's change it from object to world. And now what we're going to do is that we're going to change this background into becoming a procedural space star environment. And it's surprisingly easy. So first we're going to do, we're going to take our left viewport here and just hold down Z and change this to rendered. So now this is our render view. And now we will see whatever is happening. I'm controlling the background strength and it's going up and down. Click and drag. Really simple actually. So now what we want to do is we can disable the overlays if we want. And now this is our blank canvas. So let's, in our background, make sure you have the, go to preferences and make sure you have the Node Wrangler add-on installed. So now you can select the background and press Ctrl T. And this will just add a bunch of stuff that we are going to need. First, it adds a texture coordinate. And then it adds UV mapping, and then an environment texture. We don't need the environment texture, but it's really easy to swap this out if you're in the Node Wrangler, if you're using that add-on. So let's press Shift, let's select the environment texture, Shift S, and then set the texture to noise texture. And then let's set the texture coordinate to, no, we have to increase the background strength. There we go. Now you can see we have this noise texture in our background. So I want to make, let's make some room here, and I want to make a color ramp. So let's go Shift A, Converter, Color Ramp, and then just click and drag and place this on top. So now what happens is this becomes black and white, and then you can play around with this color ramp to just really get out some details here. And you can probably see where I'm going with this, because if we go over to the mapping here, you can just click and drag your mouse vertically. And now you can select all these at the same time. So if you click and drag down and then to the side, and then you can hold down Shift. Now we can scale this down, for example. So let's set the scale to maybe 20. That's good. And now you can see this is starting to look a little bit like a universe. But there's more magic to this. Let's actually lower the detail of the noise texture a little bit. And let's tweak the color ramp even further. I just want this to be barely visible. See this? There we go. Now you can see we have these stars in our scene. Amazing. So now what we can do is that this quickly gets a little bit uniform. You know, we can make a camera, for example, and you can press Control. No, you can press Control Alt Numpad 0. So now we're viewing this to the camera, and then press Control B to limit our view. So now this is our, what? Aren't we in the render view? Oh, we're in Eevee. I had no idea this worked in Eevee. I thought we were in cycles. Wow. Oh, because I restarted over. Okay, never mind. Let's be in cycles. It doesn't really matter, apparently, since this amazingly enough works in Eevee. So let's view this from the camera view. You can click this icon. And I want to be in cycles. So let's set this to render view. Actually, I'm going to save this. I'm just going to save this to my desktop. Let's make the camera a little bit more wide angle. So select the camera, right click, adjust focal length. So now we can see more of the universe. And if you like, you can make a, oh no, let's actually make something in our universe. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to keep tweaking the stars, but it's a little bit easier to tweak the stars if we have something in our scene. So let's make a plane, Shift A, plane, This is really dark, so let's scale this up. And let's go Shift A, and let's make a sun. So this is a really bright sunlight object. And let's rotate it a little bit. And let's just make a cube. And I want to select the cube and press G and Z and then 1. So it just rests on top of this ground. So now we have something in our scene, which makes this look a little bit more like space, I think. Yeah. It could be nice to have an asteroid, actually. But I don't think... Yeah, let's focus on the stars, because there's a lot of things to explore here. So here's what you can do. You can take the... Oh, let's go back here. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the view count going up. So I'm like, I'm onto something. But then I'm like, yeah. Let's not think about that. Here we are in space. And we want to make these stars less uniform. Because if we make a camera now, I think we have a camera already. Let's press Ctrl Alt Numpad 0. So now we can view this from the camera. Let's press G and then Z. So now this is our camera view. Look at that. Space camera. So now let's select our camera, right click. Sorry. Select our camera, right click, depth of field distance, and let's set this to the cube. And now under select the camera, and under object data properties, you can turn on depth of field, and you can set it to maybe 0.1. Yeah, so now we're getting these beautiful stars, right? And this is where you're starting to see that this is not a real starry sky, you know? We're gonna need to have some more stars in the background, and then we want some bright ones that are popping up, which is a really, it's a really easy thing to do actually, because we are just going to make one layer, which is this layer that we've already made, and then we're going to make another layer of stars below it, which has denser and smaller stars, which will make this really beautiful star atmospheric vibe, which is amazing. So let's, in the shader editor, let's select all of this and press Shift D to duplicate it. And let's move this over here, and let's go Shift A, color, mix RGB, and just click and drag this over here. And then let's take this one and mix. And instead of setting this to mix, let's set it to add. So they will be added on top of each other. And now what we can do is that we can, okay, also let's set the factor to 1. So now, if you have the Node Wrangler installed, let's try that again. If you have the Node Wrangler installed, you can hold Control Shift and then just left click on something. And that will just, then you will view that. So let's here we're looking at the noise texture. Here we're looking at the combined result and the background. So what's really nice about that is that we can do any change to this, like set this to 25, and that looks really good actually. And now you can see, okay, this looks like this, and this looks like this. Okay, nice. So, and if you want to see the non-blurred version, you can just middle mouse click and just move a little bit away, so we don't see the camera. Okay, nice. I actually really just like that result that we have here, but I want it to fade more into like this gray atmosphere that eventually becomes the stars. So let's select our color ramp for the, hang on, can I make like a frame? Yeah, let's make a frame. Let's move these. Perfect. I haven't really tried that before. Let's call these small stars. F2 to rename, by the way. And these are the big stars. Can I do like frame? And then, okay, nice. Big stars. So now what we can do is that we can take these small stars and under the color ramp, we want this. You see this gradient here? This is a linear gradient. We want it to make it even smoother. So we can start out by, let's move it over here a little bit and see. Now we're getting a lot more stars. And let's change it from linear to, let's try ease. Okay, let's try B-spline. Okay, nice. And let's click a plus, add some more here. And let's change this to black. And now we're getting this really smooth fall off here. I'm starting to realize that you might not be able to see this in the YouTube video. Try setting the video to max resolution though. And let's actually select the color ramp to the left and let's lower the brightness here. So this is just this weak star. This looks really good on my monitor. I'm not sure how it looked for you. But now if we look at these large stars, here are these really large stars. We can even make them brighter. No, they are quite bright actually. So now when you look at this background, Look at this. You have these few really large stars. They're actually a little bit too large. Let's try and set this to 25 or 35. Yeah, I think this is good. And let's increase this a little bit. Now, this is all about tweaking. So now we have the base setup. Let me show you. Perhaps I'll have to do like this. Here is the base setup, which I can recommend that you just tweak and find and see what looks good. And then let's say you have this setup and the amount of time that we spent on this, I can recommend that you spend like, this is so far we're 20% of the way. You know what I mean? The restoring 80% is where the real magic happens. So you can, for example, combine this with a sky texture, which I did for the flame sword animation dude. That's all procedural. I wish I had that so I can show it actually. But it's a really powerful way to just get some stars. So now if you view this from the camera again, you can see that we have these beautiful, hang on, let me see. You can see that we have these beautiful depth of field stars in the background here. And then if you like, you can even increase the strength. So let's set it to 3, for example. And now it's this really beautiful space background. Look at that. Yeah. And if you start adding, let's actually do a render of this. But let's turn down the depth of field. So let's have a look at this render. That's too many samples, but it's okay. Nice. Feels like a good space render, So that's how to make a space in Blender. Yeah, and it's completely procedural. It works for the entire universe. So it's a pretty large topic. Any more tutorial suggestions? Can you also make a glass tutorial in this stream? The glass topic is for the next tutorial. I've been working on it for a long time and I'm trying to make it really good. So, Control J to frame selected nodes. Very nice. Hang on, let me just see. Control J. Oh, nice. Thank you. That's amazing. Can you teach us how to do lighting on scenes? Or do you mean lightning as in thunder? Can you explain modeling tools? Photorealism. That's a good 2D to 3D camera transitions. That's an interesting topic, actually. Let me just actually turn this off so it doesn't look like I'm still on that one. How to start in Blender. How to make a tutorial. Soft body. 2D, 3D projection mapping. Make your glasses, speed model. But I will have to look at them, it would be difficult. Oh, this is going cold. Realistic Eevee render. Here's an interesting thought I have about realistic renders in Eevee. So in Cycles, if you want to make realistic renders in Cycles, the engine does a lot for you. So you have to wait for the render to be finished, But in Eevee, you're working for a long time to really optimize a realistic render, and then the render goes faster. So I feel like the diagram is always the same length. It's just that in Cycles, Blender is doing more of the work instead of you having to really tweak and optimize stuff, Does that make sense? Yeah, no need to spam people. But yeah, so that's my thought on making realistic renders in Eevee. Animating along a path. That could be interesting. Okay, hang on. There was a glass request. Because I will be doing a glass tutorial, but I was thinking about one technique for the glass tutorial that I've been prioritizing over another one. Overwatch 2? No. Oh yeah, it's actually an Overwatch mug, but I'm not sure if I'll be playing Overwatch 2. I feel like I'm talking all over the place. Let me try and get this my thoughts straight here. I could do a glass shading material, just an easy glass setup for, you know, the twisting crystals tutorial I made earlier. I have a significantly improved workflow for that one, which could be like the version 2, I guess. Yeah. How do you use metaballs in Blender? That, you know, metaballs is it's a little bit useless, you know, if you ask me, because you get like issues with motion blur, and it's not really something that is super useful, I think. How to make rain? Grease pencil. Can you make a small basic gauge? I'm not sure what that is. Fire simulation. I have a really comprehensive fire simulation tutorial, which is I'm not sure if I will ever have to do another one because it's so comprehensive, you know. Metaballs are good for base for sculpting. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's probably a good way to sort of kit bash round shapes. I can agree with that. Oh, bloom effect in cycles. Not bad. By the way, no need to just spam same thing, even though it probably works. The rain guy. I'm not doing rain, sorry. I don't know how to do that, that's why. But hey, hang on. What was the good idea above here? The cycles bloom. Okay, yeah, so I'm not sure if I remember how to do this, but we can actually try. Let's try doing how to make smooth glow in a satisfying simulation. That's a good idea. Yeah, glare in compositor. Okay, so I have this technique that is a bit advanced, but it's incredibly powerful. Let's actually try that. How to make exponential glow in cycles. Yeah, it's actually a really powerful... Yeah, so bloom in cycles. It's a little bit difficult, but there are 2 techniques. Okay, how to make Okay, so there's another N. Glow in cycles. Okay, nice. Let's try it. So, how to make exponential glow in cycles. It's incredibly important that you do this, because if you don't do it, your scene will look flat. And if you have a great glow, you might actually be able to do photorealism without any textures. It's amazing. Let's actually do a simple scene first. Because if we start out with a simple scene, then we can do a... if we start out with a simple scene, it's much easier to add the glow later. Or set up the glow, because we can't really have nothing. So, let's make... Oh, we should have had the space scene, you know? We just made the space. Do I have it over here? Yeah, we have the space scene. Let's just add glow to this one. Oh, that's... Yeah, can I do this? There we go. Okay, so we are in the space scene. Oh, that's really nice. So, we are in the space scene. Can we see the render here? No, we can't. Let me lower the... let me increase the size of the strength of the sun. We need a really strong sun. So, maybe 4. Yeah, this is strong. And then we need to change the depth of field to something higher, like 0.5. Okay, nice. Maybe we can actually... No, we can't get rid of that. Perhaps we should try and use Suzanne instead. Because I think... Yeah, this will be really nice. So, let's make Suzanne in space. And let's make it look a little bit smoother than if it was rendered without any glare. So, here we have Suzanne floating on a plane in space. Let's zoom in a little bit. There we are. Space Suzanne. So what I want to do first is I want to do a render. Let's render this with 1024 samples. So as you can see already from this render that these edges are way too sharp. Let me actually show you what I'm talking about. I think I've shown this before, but it's nice to just do it again. If you go under scopes here, you can see this sample line, which is amazing. It's a really powerful tool. So let's zoom in here. Here you can see, if we drag a sample line here. Look at that. Look at how incredibly steep this is. It goes from the darkest 0. See this? Oh, sorry, I'm pointing with my finger. If you see down here, if I'm holding my right click button, you can see that this is almost completely dark. It's almost pitch black, right? But that just never happens right next to something that is quite bright. So you want this to be a little bit falling off, a little bit smoother. And so to do this, let's make a glare setup. And the glare setup that I like to use the most, let's change this to compositing. So let's go compositor. And let's click, oh, so by the way, just to back up a little bit, the glare that we are going to use to make this look more realistic is added in the compositor. So it happens after you've done the render, and it's extremely important to know what to do when there's too much light in our scene, because this scene has too much light. So let's actually just save this so we don't lose it. I'm just going to save this to my desktop. Monkey in space. So to open this image in the node or in the compositor, let's go use nodes and let's click backdrop. And I'm not sure if people will be jumping forward in this video, but if you didn't catch it earlier, you're going to need the node wrangler add-on, which is amazing. It's built with Blender. So now what we can do is that we can just press Ctrl Shift and click on the render layers. And now we have our viewer. So this viewer is what we see, and this compositor is what our saved blend file will save as. And it can be nice to be able to use the viewer. For example, if I add an exposure node here, and I set the exposure to 3, now I can connect our image into exposure and then hold on Ctrl Shift and set our viewer to view the exposure. But this won't affect our final render because we have to drag from image to image in the compositor. So this saves our image once when you save this like this. So that's how the compositor works, like super quickly. So now what we want to do, we want to use these compositors, these filters here, to add a really smooth glare in Blender. So let's go Shift A. Let's go Shift A and let's add a filter, glare. This is the easiest way to do this by far. So you just click and drag and place this on top of the composite, and then let's hold Ctrl Shift and then let's view the glare. So now nothing happens. Could it be the threshold? Yeah, okay, so it works, definitely. We want to change some settings here. We want to change it from streak to fog glow. This is really powerful. And I like to change the quality from medium to high. And I like to change the size to 9. And then one more really important thing is to set the threshold to 0. Because if you have a threshold-based glow, no matter what software you're using, if you have a threshold-based glow, that's not really how glow works in the real life. Because the more glow you have, the more the light is, or the more light you have in the scene, the more it's bouncing around inside the glass of the lens of your camera and then before it hits the sensor. So a threshold is just really unnatural because the light just never has a hard cut. But I understand why people would like to use it. So now this is too much glow, I think. This looks like a ghost movie, sort of. So let's lower the mix value to something really low. Like if you set it to -1, there is no glare. And if you set it to 1, there is only glare. So we want to set it to -0.95 to start out. And this is really subtle. You might not even be able to see this in the YouTube video. You can also set it to, let's increase it a little bit more, minus 9, 2. Yeah, let's zoom this. You can also zoom using V and Alt V, but that's a little bit weird. So let's zoom in here a little bit. Now let's see what this looks like before and after. Before and after. It's not much of a difference. But if you do this to all your renders, it really helps. This is a really powerful way to just add that a little bit of realism to your scene. It's extremely helpful. It can be that little bit of extra help. So just to make this easier to see for you, let's just really increase this. That's too much. Yeah, I think this is good. I mean, I wouldn't go this far, but I think now you can see it, how it works. So the glare node set to fog glow high with a threshold of 0 and size 9, and the mix is how much glare you want, is a really powerful starting point for adding the glare node. But there was in another video, I was exploring an exponential glare. Because now if we look at this render now, that's the wrong one. You can press tab to start doing the compositing again, and then let's press alt tab and view the render. So here is our render result now with the compositor, and let's set the composite to view layer again, and here you can see it without. Composite, view layer. And by the way, I have exaggerated this a lot, because this is not usually how much glare you would need. So if you press N to bring up this menu now, let's have a look at the sample line again. Because now if you click and drag this sample line, let's start over here, look at that. It's a really smooth gradient fall off. Oh. So here is what it looks like with the view layer. It just goes completely like a cliff, right? And you never want to see this in a real render. And then if you set it to composite instead, now we have the glare, which is really exaggerated. Let me show you what my default settings are later. Now you can see that this just falls off way too smooth. So this is the glare setup that I use or no, not really. I set it to, this is what I use. So here you can see. No, wait, there's one more thing that I usually do. I add a really subtle lens distortion and just place it here in front. And then just set the dispersion to 0.01, which just really helps when adding just a little bit. You see this? On the stars towards the edges here, you can see that we have this a tiny little bit of chromatic aberration, which it has to be subtle. If you're overdoing this, people will just back off and say that just looks unnatural. But all lenses have just a little bit of lens distortion. So I go somewhere between 0.008 and 0.01. Like this, yeah. So this is the lens, this is the setup I use for almost all my renders, maybe like this. So if you just use this as part of your default Blender startup file, you will quickly notice that it just really helps. It's one of those little things that you can just enable, and it just really helps. So now I actually think I'm gonna have to take off my hoodie because it's a little bit hot here. So hang on, let me just... oh wait, let's do something fun. Can I do like this? Yeah, because I'm going... I'll be right back. Let's do this one. Yeah, I'll be right back. Okay, so how are you? Oh, sorry. It's just really cold here in Norway, so I'm using a lot of clothes to keep warm, which I recommend that you do the same, because it's much cheaper to just put on an extra layer. See this? We call this super undertøy or super underwear. I don't know. It's like wool, super hot. Very nice. Spelling mistake in description. Casual Blender stream? No, I'm not sure. Okay, so yeah, let's... do you have any more tutorial suggestions? Hello from Belgium. Hello. Hello from Norway. Software used. Oh, I'm probably wrong. Yeah. Software use. Okay. Yeah. Well, if you look below, it actually says that you can join the Discord. Or yeah, let's actually do a quick a quick shout out to the Discord. If you want, and if you're here, you can join the Pole of Your Viewport community, which is an amazing place. We're over 6,000 people. It's amazing. We're actually doing a Spooktober challenge, which is like a challenge right now where you can join and you can make like a Halloween render, and the winner gets honor and the glory and upvotes. And you will also get a lot of great input if you want to share your work or just learn. So yeah, I can recommend joining this. Click the accept invite button. I can recommend doing that. That's way too aggressive, I'm sorry. And then I also can recommend that you join the Patreon. It's the best way to support me. I'm just one guy making tutorials on this website. It's not a big production or anything. It's just, or that's probably obvious, but yeah. Support independent tutorial makers, I guess. And then you can also add me on lichess, where I play chess sometimes. I'm called Polyfertile lichess. So, let me see some more tutorial requests. Yeah, links in description or in the chat there from Hasselhoff. What is NOK? NOK is Norwegian kroners. How to make transparent water in Eevee? Oh, that's difficult. Yeah, Discord links and Patreon links are in the description of this live stream. So, a satisfying animation. Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. V Ammonite here with the amazing suggestions. I feel like I'm doing your all the time. So yeah, how to make a satisfying animation. I think that could be easy, because I think satisfying animations are... it's so open-ended, so it might be like a little bit of a situation where I can do a little bit of whatever I want. And it's also a nice opportunity to look at some really smooth keyframe situations. Yeah, so let's actually do that. Can I do this? Yeah, what was the... How to make a satisfying animation. How to make a satisfying animation. And also, I think we should try and render the animation as well, if that's possible. We'll look to some character-based tutorials. Yeah, so maybe like a satisfying character could be interesting. Okay, so how to make a satisfying animation. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. I think that it should be a loop. I also think it could be in a vertical format, so we can post it on Instagram later, for example. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, so let's select the camera. Let's clear the location and rotation, so that's Alt-R and Alt-G. And let's rotate it on the x-axis by a value of 90, so you can press RX90. And let's just move it back. So now we have our camera placed super symmetrical in our scene, which is good, I think. And let's set our render properties. I want to work in cycles. And I want to set it to GPU. And I want to set the output properties to 1080 by 1920. So we can see this in a vertical format. You can click here to view the camera view. So now what I also want to do is I want to change the frame rate to 30 frames per second. And now we just have to figure out what to make a satisfying animation about. And I'm actually thinking a cell fracture animation. I just really love breaking things. Yeah, I think we should do that. So let's get rid of the light, X to delete, and let's actually select the camera and hide it for now, because we don't need that. So let's select this one. I want to break this up into a bunch of different pieces. So let's view this from the front, and let's move it on the z-axis by a value of 1. And to do this, you're going to need the cell fracture add-on. It's built into Blender. So let's go to Edit, Preferences, and let's search for cell fracture. And let's select our cube. And we want to press Tab to go to Edit mode, so we can right-click and subdivide it. And let's subdivide it 10 times. No, 7 times. Yeah, that's good. And now, before we crash this into a bunch of different pieces, hang on. We could... Is it just me, or is it boring to do a cube? What if this was a more interesting shape? Let's do that. I want to, because there's one animation that I've been wanting to make. And we're going to need to go to Google Fonts and select icons. And let's just search for thumbs or thumb. Because on this video, you can probably see it below my face or below this area. There is a like button if you want to click that. It's perfectly okay to do that. But here we are in Google Fonts, which are the official Google icons, you know. And let's fill it. So now this is the thumbs up icon that they use on YouTube. And now you can download this as an SVG. So we want to turn this into a... oh yeah, red Google is just so I know that I'm streaming. This is like a different user, so I'm not opening any sensitive messages or stuff like that. So... yeah, this just gets saved to the desktop, I think. Yeah, good. Okay, so now we just downloaded this thumbs up icon. And I want to make this cube into that. So first we're going to do, let's just delete the cube. And let's press F4, import SVG. And now let's go to our desktop and let's just import this one. Import SVG. Hang on, I think we're going to have to change the title of this. How to smash that like button. Am I right? Nope. In a satisfying animation. Is there enough room for this? Yeah, okay, nice, very good. So now we have our SVG here, which is extremely small. And now let's take this and let's zoom out, and I want to scale this up. And the reason why you don't want to work with a really small object like this is because the rigid body simulation is going to round down numbers. So you don't want any numbers to be super low, like with a lot of decimals, because then the rigid body just doesn't work. So we want to scale this up so it's like 2 or 3 meters, and then we can speed it up if we want it to go faster. This will all make sense once we get down the road. I'm probably explaining it in a little bit weird order. But what now we're going to do, we're going to change the materials. Let's go to material properties. Let's get rid of this, and let's create a new material. Let's call this thumb, and let's set the surface principled to, oh, I'm not sure if you can see all this, but it says diffuse here. Okay, nice. So now this is a thumb with a diffuse material. So now we want to break this into a bunch of pieces. We want to smash that like button, okay? I think we're gonna have to make it thicker. So right click, add extrusion. Oh my God, that's very sensitive. Let's go to object data properties. Let's scroll down to geometry, and let's hold down shift and lower the extrude. There we go. No, let's actually have a little bit of a thick like button. I like a thick like button in my life. Let's view this from the side, and let's rotate it by pressing R and then hold Control. And then you can pay attention. Oh, if you pay attention up here, when I'm rotating, you can see the amount of degrees. So let's do it minus 90 degrees on the x-axis. Yeah. And then let's view this from the front. Let's move this up. Okay, good. We have a 3-dimensional like button in our scene. Amazing. Now we're going to... should we apply scale? Yes, we should. But we don't really have to worry about that now. Or we actually do. We do. That's a good, good observation. Control A and apply scale. Because if you don't do this, the rigid body simulation that we're going to do later will be really weird. So let's apply the scale. And now we see our pivot point is over here. You can right click and set the origin to geometry. Not super happy about that. Anyways, now we need to convert this to mesh before we can smash it, because we want to smash this. So let's go to modify properties. Let's add a bevel modifier. That doesn't work. That's a wrong order for order. Let's select our thumb. We want to go to object data properties, and we want to view this from the front. See here, if you think this has a too low resolution, you can change the resolution here because this is vector stuff. So let's actually increase this. This should be smoother, I think. Let's actually select this one and see if we can press V and free. Automatic. Yeah, automatic. So now we can tweak this just a little bit. Automatic. Automatic. Look at this. I'm just tweaking the like button. Yeah, I think this is good because we just want it to be smooth. That's really not smooth. Okay, you didn't really have to do what I just did because no one will notice. So we want to convert this. Now it's currently a curve like this. It's a curve-based object. We want it to be a mesh similar to this. This is a mesh. You can see you can move this around in edit mode, right? So to do that, simply right-click, convert to mesh. And now when you press tab and go to edit mode, you can see that this looks really weird. And this is going to be really weird if we want to convert this into a cell fracture simulation. So now what we want to do, we want to go to modify properties, add modifier, remesh. And as you can see, now this gets a little bit more simulation friendly mesh. So let's let's lower the voxel size. Let's try 0.05. Let's try 0.02, 0.01. I'm not actually sure. Let's try sharp. Remove disconnected pieces. Nope. Okay, this is a little bit better, I think. 5, 6, 7. Nope, 7. I think 6 is good enough. Yeah, okay, this is looking good. Do you have a quad remesher? No, sorry. So I'm just using this basic remesh because we just really need to prevent it from looking like this. You see this? This is like, look at this. 1 chunk, 2 chunk, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's like really weird distribution of vertices, which is an issue in physics simulation because it's often given a weight based on where the vertices are placed. So you want the vertices to be placed evenly like this. So now that we have our thick thumb in our scene, let's actually just save this to our desktop. Thick thumb. And I want to apply the remesh modifier. So you can just click this little drop-down menu and go apply. So now in your edit mode, we successfully have our thumb and it's looking really good actually. And then if you want to, you can right-click and set the shading to smooth. I think we'll come back to this. Let's set it to flat for now. So now we want to turn this into a cell fracture simulation. Okay, so let's start out by assigning material first, because we will actually be able to make one material for the outside and then one for the inside. So the thumb will look like this, but once it cracks open, you can see on the inside it could be like YouTube's red color or something like that. So let's go to material properties and let's call this one thumb inside. And let's click on this little plus icon, add material slot, new material, thumb outside. And this actually might be wrong. So I think we need to place the outside above. This doesn't really matter, but yeah, I think so. And now let's press tab to go to edit mode, A to select everything, and thumb outside, we want this to be the assigned material. This is not really important, but now what you can do is you can take the thumb inside. Oh, no, hang on. Let's just set both of these to diffuse material. So that's a difficult way to just say that we assigned two materials to the same object simply because the effect that we are about to use prioritizes these two materials differently. So we want to make two materials, because if we don't make two materials before we break this up into pieces, it's going to be extremely time consuming to just manually add all the materials. Okay, so now let's add the cell fracture modifier, or the cell fracture tool. Let's go to Object, Quick Effects, Cell Fracture. And this is only visible if you go to the preferences and install the add-on. So let's click Cell Fracture. And like, this is a really big menu. If you move your mouse around and click away, it just disappears. So you're going to make sure you're inside when you're clicking stuff. So now let's set this to, basically what this does is that it's going to break our object into a bunch of different pieces using a Voronoi texture. And by default, it's set to own particles, because you can use a particle simulation to determine where you want the cuts to be placed. But we don't have any particles, so let's just set own verts, which is own vertices. And the source limit by default is 100. I think that's good. And but we want to increase the noise, because this noise is a Voronoi shaped noise. So let's set this to 0.2, for example. And the material, I think we want to set this to 1. Because then the 0 is the outside and then 1 is inside. Yeah, material index for interior faces. It's been a while since I've been doing this, but I think this is correct. We can actually set the source limit to 150. Okay, so now this is really cool actually. Now when we press OK, this is going to just start working. Okay, nice. Look at this. So here is our, this is still our thumb. Let's actually press F2 and just call this thumb. And then all of these other pieces is the unbroken thumb. So now what we want to do, we want to take our original thumb and just press H to hide it. And we want to turn this into a physics simulation. Oh, let's first see if the materials are correctly set up. So let's click and drag and select all of them. You can turn on wireframe view. Sorry, I mean X-ray view by pressing Alt-Z. So let's press Alt-Z, turn on X-ray view, and select all of these, and hold down dot, which is, this one. You can press dot and set it to individual origins. So now you can press S to scale this down or rotate. And you can see that we have all these pieces with their own center of mass, pivot point. I don't know. You can understand it by looking at it, right? Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to turn this into rigid body simulation. But first, let's see if we have the material set up. So let's go to thumb inside, and let's scroll down to viewport display, and let's just give this a color. Let's just set it to red, for example. Now you can press RR. Look at that. It is red on the inside. How cool is this? So let's actually just click and drag this over to diffuse. So now it will show up in the render as well. But now we want this to be placed just a little bit over. Let's actually press Alt-H to bring back this original, because we're going to need this later. This is going to be a long tutorial. Let's click and drag and select all of these. And let's move this up on the Z-axis. Press G to move and then Z, and let's hold down Control. I think 1 meter is good. And now we want this to fall down and crash on the ground and just become like a... It's going to just... yeah. We're going to smash the like button. So let's go Shift A, and let's make a plane. And let's, instead of scaling this up regularly, you want to press Tab and go to Edit mode, and then scale it up. Because we're going to do a physics simulation, so if you just get into a habit of doing this, you don't have to just go Control A, apply scale all the time. So let's give this a new material. Let's call this ground. And let's set the surface to diffuse. I like to roll over the roughness as well. Okay, but the point of this ground is not to be looking nice. The point is to catch the broken pieces of this thumb. So let's select the ground. Let's go Object, Rigid Body, Add Passive. So now we can press play, and we can see there's a color line here because this is a physics simulation now. But nothing is happening because we only have a passive ground object. So now let's select our thumb object again, which is this one. Let's just get rid of it. Let's press H to hide it. And let's toggle X-ray view. Let's select all of these. And you might have to hold Shift so one of them is sort of highlighted. And then go Object, Rigid Body, Add Active. So now when we press play, things might go bananas. Let's see. Oh, it actually works. Amazing. It works on the first try as well. That never happens. Look at this. We are officially smashing that like button. So now what I want to do is I want to increase the friction of the ground because these are sliding around. I don't really like that. So let's select the ground and let's go to physics properties And under surface response, we can increase the friction. So let's have a look. Very nice. Okay, so now I want this animation to play a little bit faster. And to do that, let's go to scene properties and rigid body world. And under speed, under settings here, under speed, we can set this to, for example, 3. And now it will move 3 times as fast. Yeah, that's much better, I think. Let's do 2 times. The thing is, this looks really good once you get the motion blur going. And here you can see one of them is like falling off. I like that. But let's actually move the plane over here a little bit. Okay, very nice. So now what I want to do is that I want to render this as an animation. So let's go to, let's see our camera here. Let's click the toggle camera. We can select it like this and press G and move it on the Z-axis. Let's press G and press Z twice, so you can move it on its local Z-axis. So I think this is good. You can hold down Shift and middle mouse click if you want to change where the camera is, by the way. So now I think this... No, we need to be further back. Let's press G and then Z 2 times. Let's move back here. And G and Z up. And let's press R and X to just tilt it down a little bit. Very nice. I think we need to right click, adjust focal length, make this wider. And now we want to select this plane, press tab to go to edit mode, and let's scale it up so it covers our entire screen, like this. And then press tab to go back to object mode. Yeah, I think this is good. Oh, I really wish this piece would land. Perhaps we can try and tweak the timing. Let's try a speed of 2.1. No, 2 was better. Yeah, that's good. Okay. I'm trying to think what we should do first now. I think we should try and do... let's try and add just some lighting and some materials. No, we have to bake it first, of course. So let's first... Yeah, this is really nice. Okay, so we want to bake this into keyframes, because now this starts on frame 1, right? But if we bake this into keyframes, we can move it around on the timeline, we can move around in place. It's a really nice way to just adjust. We're happy with the simulation, we want to save it, you know? So, select all the pieces of the thumb, hold down Shift and select the ground plane as well. I don't think you need to do that, but it's nice to do it. And let's right click, go to vertical split, and let's, you can middle mouse click and drag this, and let's set this to graph editor. And then you can press N to get this away. That's N. And now what you want to do is you want to go Object, Rigid Body, Bake to Keyframes. And you get up this little menu here. We want to do, I think we want to do 95 frames, because that's what we have here. And then just press OK. Okay, nice. Look at this mess. Amazing. Here are all our animations. Look at this. You can see the values of these keyframes. And this seems to be a piece that is falling outside. No, I'm not really sure. We won't need all of this. But what's really nice is that now this is saved. So this is no longer a physics simulation. So now what we can do is that we can just go back and forth on our timeline, and this will sort of never struggle to bake properly, because this is keyframe data now. So it's just super nice to work with. So now what I like to do is to select everything by pressing A, and then you can also use this little only show selected button to just make sure that everything is being selected. Press A in the graph editor. You can hold down Control and middle mouse click if you just want to see everything. And now we want to displace this. We want to offset this by 30 frames. So let's press G and then just type 30. So now this animation will not start until frame 30. Amazing. Now remember the original thumb shape that we had? We want to use that as well, because if we go to render view now, let's view this from the camera, and let's set this to render view. See this? You can see that the thumb is broken into pieces before we start, which is a problem. But if you press Alt-H, now this intersect because it's exactly the same location. But the idea is that if you have this original thumb, and in edit mode, if you just scale it up a little bit by pressing S and then just a little bit, we might have to tweak this because now we have to tweak this a little bit. Let's scale this on the X-axis a little bit. Okay, nice. So now we have this thumb that is just placed just outside of these fractures, right? So what you can do is that you can hide this thumb on frame 30. See that? So now we start on frame 30. Oh, there's a keyframe here from the drawing, I think. Let's just delete that. Select the thumb, and let's go to frame 30. I think I'm gonna have to move my face. No, we can just do like this. No, don't do that. Let's right-click, horizontal split. I think we have to set this to outliner. Yeah, so here we have the outliner. And we can keyframe the visibility of this thumb. So let's actually make a different collection. Oh, the thumb is in a different collection. Amazing. Let's select the thumb and let's go to the filter and let's enable disable in viewport. No, disable in render is already there. Okay, perfect. So now we can select our thumb. Let's go to frame 29 and let's turn off the render. And let's hold your mouse over and just press I. So I to insert keyframe. So now there's a keyframe on the visibility in the rendered view for this thumb without any cracks. And then let's go to frame 30. I did it in the wrong order, by the way, but that's no problem. Now let's hold your mouse over again and press I, because now it's hidden. So that's the correct. Now this is, now there are two keyframes which says the same. So let's go to frame 29 and let's set the, hang on, I just need to think straight here. We need to set this, we need to enable this and then render it. But now the problem is this is going to fall down. So what I like to do is I like to view this from the front. And I like to find the moment of impact. You can hold down Alt and scroll on your mouse wheel to go frame by frame, by the way. Let's find the moment of impact here. This one, right here. Frame 38. Let's go to frame 38. Let's actually move this. You can press G and move this to frame 38. And we want to make this follow the thumb pieces. So what you can do is you can hold down Alt and then you can move to frame, we're on frame 30, select the thumb and then hold down Shift and just select one of the pieces and then press Control P. So now if you hold down Alt, our thumb will follow this and it will fall down, and on frame 38 it will become invisible. So on frame 39 it looks like this. And then we go back and then Alt-H. I'm just hiding this manually, by the way. But this will be keyframed in the render view. So on frame 37, our thumb is fully visible. You see there, it is not disabled in render view. And then on frame 38, our thumb is disabled in render view. So we will only see our cracked mesh. I think we actually can go even one frame further. So let's select both our keyframes here and press G and then 1. Yeah, this will be really nice. Yeah, it should be invisible on frame 39, I agree. Okay, so now what we can do is that we can have a look at our render here. Yeah, this is looking really weird, but we don't have to care about it. In fact, we can actually go to Object Properties, and under Viewport Display, you can display as bounds, because we don't really need to see it. Yeah, it's going to look like a bug like that. Okay, nice. So now what's really cool, no, actually, let's keep it as a texture for now, because we want to animate this. Because now what we can do, let's view this from the camera view, is that we can place our, let's actually collapse this. So let's right click and click join areas and click on the one you want to delete. And let's move this over here. Now I want this to be placed here and then be animated in like this. So let's go to frame 30 where the animation starts and let's press insert location. That's I to insert, and then let's insert rotation as well. So now let's go to frame number 1. Let's move this outside. Now we're gonna have to get rid of this. Okay. And let's press I and insert location. And then we want to rotate this. Just go RR and then just give it something crazy. Like that. And then, oh no. No. We wanna... No, I just got a better idea. Let's delete all the keyframes we just made. You wanna click only show selected. And we want to delete our location keyframes. Don't delete the disable in render keyframes. What? Oh, that's... Oh, what? Okay, let me just delete all the object transform data. So location and rotation. Because here's what we want to do. We want to make a controller that controls both the fractured pieces and the intact thumb. So let's go Shift A. Let's make an empty sphere. That didn't work. Shift A, empty sphere. Let's move this on the Z-axis. Right click, adjust empty size, like that. And now what we want to do is we want to find the piece that we parented. Which one was that? Was it this one? Okay. We want to take this piece. And we want to press Control I. So now we're selecting all the pieces except for that one. Because if we don't do that, that piece one... Because now... Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to parent all of these to this empty, right? So we can rotate this and do what we want with it, you know, like this. But the problem is, one of these pieces are parented, or the thumb is parented to one of these pieces. Sorry, I'm being an idiot. We just have to not parent this one. Yeah, let's actually just hide this for now, so we can. Yeah, sorry. Just back up 15 seconds here. Select the thumb object, press H to hide it, and then toggle X-ray, box select everything, and then shift click on the empty. So now you can press Control P and parent this to the empty. So now when you press Alt H, this one will still be parented to this one, and then all of these will be parented to this. Okay, perfect. Now that's great. Now what we can do is that we can take the empty object, and this is going to be quite fun because we can press I to insert rotation, and let's actually go I insert location as well. Let's go to frame number 1, and let's press RX, and let's rotate it so it becomes a thumbs down, and let's hold down Control so it's 180 degrees, and then insert rotation. So now, yeah, this is going to be cool. So now it starts off as a thumbs down, then you press play, and it just falls like this. And this doesn't have to be... yeah, let's just hide this for now so you can see what's going on. Okay, very nice. And if you want to turn off this mess, you can go to overlays, and turn off relationship lines. Okay, nice. Yeah, that's good. Perhaps we can build up some momentum so it starts a little bit lower. Like let's press G and Z so it starts lower. Insert location, and then it moves up, and then it goes down. Yeah. Okay, nice. Let's give this some material. So let's change this one from editor type to shader editor. No, we want it to be, yeah, I only use the hotkeys for this. 3D viewport, that's it. And let's also disable relationship lines for this one. And now let's set this to be our camera. Press T to get rid of this. Turn off these. Let's zoom in here. Rendered. Okay, so now what we can do, we can actually set this to... Yeah, so here's animated. Oh, yeah, if you want to make life a little bit easier, let's go to frame 38. And let's set the ray visibility for camera. Let's keyframe this. And then let's go 1 frame. And then let's just... hide it from the camera, and then insert again. Let's actually do all of these. Because this will just, this will not affect the final render, it will just make it a little bit easier to work with. So now let's hide it for all this. Insert, insert, insert. Okay, perfect. Because now we can see here in our render, it's going like this, and then it cracks up, and it falls over. Perfect. Let's make a border here, let's press Control B. And let's make Shift A, let's make an area light. And let's move this, press G and move it on the Z-axis. And then right click increase light size, and right click, increase light power. Very nice. We're actually gonna have to move this up a little bit more. Okay, good. This is going to be really nice, actually. But what I want to do is I want to darken the scene. So let's go to World Properties. And let's set the strength to 0. And now this ground plane doesn't really matter anymore. So we can actually go rigid body remove. So we get rid of the rigid body world. And let's press tab to go to edit mode. Press 2 to go to edge select. And you can select this piece. And let's move this on the y-axis in here. So now you can press E and extrude it on the z-axis. And we get this beautiful backdrop. And let's go to modifier properties, add modifier bevel. And let's increase the amount. And let's make it smoother. And we're going to have to move this back, I think. Because let's see where this ends up. Yeah. This needs to be like this, I think. Okay, good. So now we can select this edge and move it further back. And, oh yeah, let's place it here. Move it even further. Let's make a smooth backdrop here. Okay, I think this is good. Now all we need to do is select our light and rotate this a little bit. If you want to learn more about this lighting setup, this is something I cover in another video. I think it's called like cinematic 1-point lighting or something. Okay, let's select this, edit mode, select this edge, and let's move it so it covers the entire thing. And then this one as well. Okay, nice. I think we're onto something here. Let's rotate this a little bit. Yeah, okay, there we go. Now I want to make this, I want to give this a little bit of a shader. This red is really red. I want to make it a little bit more natural. So let's go to material properties. Let's go to thumb inside. And let's change our surface from diffuse to, you can't really see anything. Let's go to the shader editor. So here you can see, we want to add, go Shift A, shader mix, just place it in the middle here and go Shift A, shader glossy. So now you can click this, drag it like this, and you can lower the roughness. And we can also lower the strength. So now it's a little bit of reflections in here, which looks really good. Look at this. You get these reflections going on and off. It's very nice. Let's see what you can. Oh, it looks really good with black as well. No, I just like the change. That's always what's happening. Okay, very nice. Let's move this up. Let's select our thumb outside. I think this material is good actually. We wanna, I think, however, we wanna make this smooth. So let's select our thumb, right click, shade auto smooth, which I think is good. So now when you press play, it will fall down like that. Let's make our light brighter. So let's right click, then let's click the area light and let's, oh, I just read a comment. You can animate the viewport visibility. Yes, you can, but that's extremely difficult to work with. Because if you do that, let me just quickly show you what button that is. Where are we? No, I don't really know where it is. If you animate the viewport visibility, the keyframes will also disappear, which is really difficult to work with. So that's why I'm using animating all of these ray visibility stuff instead. Anyways, let's increase the brightness of the light. Let's do 500. Oh, we need to make the background darker. So let's select the background. Let's go to material properties. There we go. And I want this bevel to be smoother. I want to really smooth it. But now the problem is that these are going to go through, you know? But perhaps we can't see it. Yeah, we can't really see that these are falling through the ground. No, perhaps we can see it a little bit. Let's move it. Let's do like this. Yeah, I think this is good. Oh, this is going to be very nice. So it starts out as a thumb down. Let's actually move this. We don't want it to start on frame 1. Let's make it start on. Hang on. There's a little bit of. it's not overlapping completely here. So let's actually go to edit mode and let's just select all of these. You can press 3 to go to face select mode. I just want to make sure that these are placed. Just press O. Yeah, press O to turn on proportional editing. And I just want to make sure that these are, yeah, just like that. We're just moving it a little bit. You see, like that. To just get rid of this. What? Oh, it's the x-axis. Yeah, sorry. Okay, that's good. I should probably not be in render view. I can hear my GPU starting to cry. Okay, now what we're going to do is that we're actually going to do the final render because we are very close. So let's render out a still image of the thumbs down. That's F12 to render out an image. And by default, it's 4096 samples, which is insane. So we're not going to do 4000 samples. Let's actually just stop that. Let's go to render properties and let's change it to, I think 256 is good. Yes, and I want to turn on motion blur. So now let's see how long that is going to take. I'm gonna have to do this quick so people don't want to thumb down my video, you know. I want them to be okay, how do you do this? This is a good question. How do you make a satisfying animation on the go? I can spend lots of time and it's not this good. Let me just make something clear. This is not a new animation. I've been doing this sometime before. I think I did something similar in another live stream or something. I'm not sure. This is not, I'm not reinventing the wheel here. This is something that I've done before. That's why it's been taking so long each time I'm picking a subject. It's because I'm just picking subjects that I've been doing before. So I'm cheating a little bit, but that's why it probably looks fast, what I'm doing. That being said, I do work a little bit fast, but it is planned, just so you know, to a certain degree at least. Or it was in the back of my head this morning, this idea. Okay, now let's look at the thumbs up, which is, yeah, that's true. Friendly reminder that spamming won't make your messages more visible. In fact, you might get a timeout. Okay, this is looking good. Thumbs up, like this. Now let's fast forward to where it starts breaking, which is here. Yeah, like this. Now let's do a still render of this. Oh, look at this, the motion blur looking really good. And now one really important thing that we have to do, we have to make sure that the pieces are not levitating. Because by default, when you're simulating stuff in Blender using the rigid body simulation tools, that's a long sentence, you get just a little bit of margin. We need to make sure that the pieces are not levitating. It's actually better that they're clipping than that they're levitating, because this double shadow is a really big problem. So let's view it in the render view. Let's go to the end here. Yeah, this actually looks good. Yeah, it's clipping through. It might... No, this one, for example. It's, you know, as we say in Norwegian, it's in Grenseland. It's in borderland. I don't know. Let's actually do a render of when they have landed. Yeah, this looks good. Okay, very nice. Okay, so now remember the... oh, we need to have some depth of field, just a little bit. Yeah, that's not, it doesn't take a long time. Select the camera. And let's go to render view, hold on Z. Set it to render view, and let's go to object data properties, and let's enable depth of field. And now you can right click, and you can set depth of field distance. Let's just place it somewhere. And let's set the f-stop to like 0.1 or something. We actually want the thumb to be in focus. So we can select the camera, right click, set the depth of field distance to be the thumb. Yeah, this looks like a miniature thing, which I really like that. I wish that crash was more symmetrical, because it just goes to the other way. Okay. Now, what more do we need to do before rendering this animation? Yeah, we need to change this to be a shorter, because it only needs to be... I think we can do like 80 frames. And a nice trick is to just, no, let's just zoom in here. Yeah, so it's not a perfect loop. That would be weird to assume that it would be, but I think it could be satisfying. So my question is, how long is this going to render? Because one frame rendered in 8 seconds. Yeah, we're doing a lower resolution. Let's do 50% resolution. So now let's see this. Okay, so that is that's 2 seconds per frame. Oh my lord, we can actually increase it to, no, let's do 2 seconds per frame because that's the 2-minute render time. Okay, so now to export a video from Blender, we're actually not going to do a video. We're going to do an image sequence. So let's set our file format to EXR. I have a video on why you should use EXR because it supports floating point values. PNG is limited to 8 or 16 bits color depth, and it does not support values which are brighter than 1. It's not an issue because Filmic is so baked into Blender that you get like this curve. But yeah, I can see the EXR hype in the chat. So let's choose OpenEXR. And the problem with OpenEXR is that the files are so big. But if you change the codec to DWAA or AB, AA is better for Nuke because it's like line based. And yeah, you don't have to care about that. The DWAB is a lossy codec, and these files are smaller than PNGs. It's absolutely amazing. By the way, one thing that I want to do is that I want to do the same compositing that we did for the glare setup. So let me just show you how fast that is to set up. So here we are in the node editor. So this is from the tutorial earlier in this video. So now I'm just going to go Shift A. Let's make a filter glare. Let's set it to fog glow high. Let's set this to minus 0.95 or 96. Threshold to 0, and let's set the size to 9. And now let's set the lens distortion to dispersion of 0.01. It's not much, but it will make a subtle difference if you do this to all your renders. So now let's get back to object, what is this called? 3D viewport. And I want to just do one more render now. Let's just do frame 62. Hot glare, yep. Okay, so now let's just make it a little bit brighter. I'm not going to start tweaking this forever, but I just want to see. I think this is good, yeah. Okay, so let's place this on our desktop. Let's make a new folder and let's call this smashing the like button, which is an encouragement. Smash version 1, accept. And now I'm going to render this. Oh, someone donated. Nice, thank you. If you really want to support me though, Patreon is much more efficient. Link in description. But I'm not asking you to do that. I just want an opportunity for people to see what's here. But now let's do the render, and I'm going to be having a quick break because I need to pee. But we are going to render this animation, and hopefully nothing breaks. Let's actually go. Let's find something nice. Yeah, I'll be meditating for a little bit. Here we go. Like this? Yeah, perfect. Just okay. I'll be back in like 1 minute. Oh, can I do? I think I can do this. Insert ad. Let me just try it. I haven't tried it yet. I'll be right back. Hello. Oh, did I miss something? Did it work to send the ad, by the way? I'm not sure what that is, what that happens. Poly P. Yep. By the way, I'm using a blanket because it's like 12 degrees Celsius today. That's not that hot, but... Oh, you got an ad. Nice. I'm really interested to see how much like one ad makes on the live stream, because it's probably not... I'm not sure if it will be worth it, you know? If a lot of people are leaving because I run an ad, then... Yeah, I don't know. So... But I mean, if it's good for the algorithm, then... Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm playing that game today. I just want a casual Blender stream. So... now what currently is happening is that this is rendering, as you can see. I'm using this one, the RTX 2080 Ti, which is my GPU I've had for 3.5 years, and I am after we have rendered this will be rendered as an EXR sequence. So I'm just going to show you quickly how you can put this together as a video in Blender. Or just export this as a video file super quickly. Oh, donation from Genia. Love your work. Thank you very much. Sound design. No, I haven't thought about making sound design. I actually haven't set up any audio for this computer right now. Like, I couldn't hear an audio if it was... I think I actually have set up... No, I'm not sure. But the audio is not working. So audio tutorials have to be not live for now, I think. Hello. Masana. Oh, what graphics card do you use? I'm using the 2080 Ti. And I think I have... oh, we're almost ready. I have my CPU is quite old. It's a Skylake 6700K, I think. When was the first time you used Blender? I think it was in this February. It will be 11 years ago, I think. First, we were at the LAN party. They were playing Halo, and I hadn't really played it before, so I just did in Blender. Okay, so now let's turn this... Hang on. If you hold on Alt, you can click this folder, and you can open this, and you can see. So now let's see all these renders here. And if you have the program called DJV, you can right-click, and you can... open with and then select DJV, but I have this as my default program, so I'm using DJV to play this. So let's double click and have a look. Hang on, let me actually can I do this? No, let's do this and then this. Yeah, and then yeah, nice. I think this is looking good. It is it satisfying? Yeah, but at least we smashed that like button, am I right? And I'm not sure if this is like the red color that YouTube uses, but it feels... I hope this isn't getting political, that I'm like, oh, I hate the dislike button or something, but... okay, nice. I'm glad to hear people think it was satisfied. Okay, oh, we could try and ping pong it, yeah, like this. Whoop, boink, boink. Ah, yeah. Okay, I don't have the sound design, but I can do it like with my mouth. Yep, that's the sound design. It's not the sound design you deserve, but it's the sound design you need. Yeah, so feel free to like this video, you know. But yeah, how to turn this into a video, because we just exported a bunch of images. So to make this into a video, let's make a new blend file. No, I just did a mistake. Instead of going a new general file, let's go File, New, and let's go Video Editing. So you will get this... hang on, I'm gonna have to just... how to convert EXR images to video. A video file. Yeah, okay, so this is what we'll be doing. So to convert it into a video file. Let's go Shift A, import image sequence. It's also always scary to see what will show up here. And go to our desktop, smashing the like button, and then you can select the first one and then just press A to select all of them and go add image strip. I regret doing that because we have to change the resolution first. So let's press Ctrl C, and you can't really see the outliner here, can you? I'm just going to right click, vertical split. No, I can set the outliner here. So let's go outliner, no, properties. Let's set the render properties, output properties. Let's change it from 1920 to 1080 by 1080 to 1920 because that's what our video is. And let's set the frame rate to 30. And I think we can find out how long it was. So now it should be the correct aspect ratio. So now let's go Shift A, image sequence, and let's select the first one, A. I don't think you have to select the first one actually. You can just press A, yeah. Add image strip. And now we have our animation here. And wait, we were at 75% resolution, I think. Okay, so now you can hold down Control when you're navigating, and it will snap to the end. So hold down Control and go like this, and then use your left arrow to go on frame, or if you press Control T, you can see it's frame 80. So let's press Control End. So now this is our render. Now, the reason why we used File New Video Editing is because this automatically sets it up to be an FFmpeg video with the coding set to MP4, and you can increase the quality to high quality if you like, which I can recommend if you have like a gradient background like this. We will still get banding though, but there are many different ways to tackle that. And under audio, let's set no audio because there is no audio here. And under output, let's click the folder and set it to desktop. And let's just type smash that like button version 1. So now when we look through this, oh no, we're not in the filmic view. Yeah, that's important. You see this? These colors are blowing out because the Blender's video it was 50%. Sorry, thank you for letting me know. The Blender video rendering thing is actually in PNG it gets compressed to filmic, so it looks good. But if you're rendering in EXR and if you're using the video editing file, you have to scroll down to color management. No, in render properties, you have to scroll down to color management and you have to set the view transform to filmic. So now this looks identical to what our viewport were looking like. And if you like, you can set it to high contrast. Perhaps that looks good. No, that gets too deep. Yeah, okay, so now to render this, let's go render animation. And it will just export this as a video file. So now on our desktop, we have smash that like button. Amazing. So now this is playing like a video file. Okay, good. Yeah, you need to reapply filmic. Yeah. And here's a really good question from Nightly Mania. Why don't you just export this video from Blender? That is because if Blender crashes when you're rendering the 3D animation and you're writing it out as a video file, and let's say you're rendering and it's not crashing, and you're at frame 75, if you lose power or if something happens to Blender so it crashes, the video file is ruined. So you have wasted all the render time. That is one reason. So if you render at an EXR sequence, it will save each image, so you can just go back and keep going, which is an amazing reason to use image sequences. Another reason to render in image sequence, and then specifically EXR, is because it supports much brighter colors than video. It supports 32-bit float, or actually not the codec that we are using, it's 16-bit, but it's more than enough. Like HDR video is 10-bit, Dolby Vision is 12-bit for some reason, but that's a whole other discussion on how many stops your eyes can see and how much is in 10-bit video. And don't get me started on dynamic metadata. Anyways, that's why you should render in image sequence and not as a video file from Blender, because if it crashes, you lose everything. So, can we have the video to download? Yeah, I can post this on the Discord server. Oh, but I don't think I can post. What is happening here? Oh, Can I? Nope. I don't have. Hang on. Oh yes. Oh, okay, now it could. I can post the video file to Discord, so you can download the video file, or I can even post the EXR sequence. Okay, so the Ammonite has to go. Bye bye. Thank you for all the great suggestions. I can make this video file available on the Discord server, and I can see if I can make a zip file with the EXR sequence rendered as well, if you want to try yourself at compositing. So, yeah, I'm actually thinking to... yeah, I'm not sure if I should do more tutorials. Can I just ask Ullis, what's your schedule? Or the... Okay, nice, never mind. Hasselhoff is still here. The bit depth still confuses me. My second monitor can only display 8-bit, but I can see a difference between 8 and 16. That's a good question. Yeah, it's a really good question. I have no idea. I'm sorry. Yeah, okay, so I'm thinking we could try and do one more tutorial, but it's going to be like a speed run, or like a little bit faster than this. This got quite long, I think. Oh, just crashed. It's weird. I think this tutorial got a bit wrong. We're gonna have to do another. Yeah, fight me. Let's do this one. So, do you have any more tutorial suggestions? Are you Norwegian? Yep. No more than 4 hours more. Tutorial on drivers, that was actually part 1. So if you're watching this in the future, you can just go back and you can see on the timeline that we covered drivers. Or it's a really efficient way to convert something to something else. And then I'm talking about data or motion or... Yeah. Is it possible to add Voronoi effect in light shading? Do you mean... I'm not sure if I understand what you mean. Use camera properly. Plants. Ooh, create a Halloween-themed logo. That could be interesting. What was I thinking about? Yeah, we could do like a... I could try and like speed model a pumpkin. Yeah. Can anyone give me the hex code for like a pumpkin color? Yeah, I'll be speed modeling a pumpkin for Halloween. Spooky pumpkin. I've never tried that before, so let's try it. Do you have any hex colors for a beautiful pumpkin orange? Let me see. FFA 500. Yeah, that's a good one. I like it. Pumpkin. I'm just going to save this to my desktop. Pumpkin. Okay. Yeah, do we have a timer? Perhaps I should... No, I can't really bother with that. Yeah, I took the first one I got. So now we got the pumpkin color. Speed modeling a spooky. Wait, are there any pumpkin? I just want to find a funny one, you know. Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be a flex. Let's do this one. Yep, I'll be trying to flex in this one. Yeah, I'm going to try and just make a pumpkin. This will be my submission for the ongoing challenge. We have an ongoing challenge on our Discord. Links in the description. Poll if you're a viewport community. We have actually gained a bunch of members since the stream started, which is amazing. So I'm going to try my best to make a pumpkin. Yeah, I could try and make it a little bit cartoony shader. So, yeah, okay. So I think I'm going to have to Oh, let's enable this. Oh, I probably forgot that for the... Yeah, let's do a... Is this a bad idea? How many... No. UV sphere, perhaps. Then, no. Circle. Because then we can do a number that is easily dividable. So now I can do like... Yeah, that's good. Yeah, let's do this. And then I'm gonna use swoop and then... Perfect. Now let's do... Is the pumpkin shape already? Proportional editing is a great way to get a little bit of personality going on here. There we go. Like this. Yeah. Oh, yes, pumpkin. We want it to be going... it has to go in like this. Isn't this like a pumpkin situation? Like this? No. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so we need to make it rounder, I think. Selection is going to be an issue. I'm starting to forget what a pumpkin looks like. This is not a pumpkin. Can it be a little bit boink? Yeah, definitely. It's going to have to be something like this. Yeah, this will be it. I want this to be a little bit less weird. It looks like, yeah, it definitely looks like a star fruit. But perhaps with the right angle. Like if it's placed here. Here, like this. If it's placed like this. I mean, if I'm looking at it here, it could be a pumpkin. And then we get like a boop. Yeah, so let's do that. Boop. It's good. Yeah, it goes in the thing. Can someone give me a nice green hex code for this vegetable thing? Or else I'm just gonna make it completely green. We're gonna make ice. We're gonna make ice. Evil ice, right? There we go. That's fast evil ice. Nope. Okay. They're more brown, okay. Yeah. Let's just do this then. Brown. Where's a good one? 6C. I'm using Hasselhoff. 6C, 6, 8, 3, 8. No, that's 6C, 6, 8, 3, 8. Amazing. That's good, thank you. Okay, so now let's make these eyes. Boolean. Boolean. Nope. Why is the Boolean working? Never working. Ice. Is it wrong? Oh, fast. Fast is always the better one. Why is it? Very weird. This is not a good speed modeling, I think. Oh, it's because this one isn't filled, of course. Yes, wow. That's... I'm sorry for everyone who had to witness that. Okay, let's do this. That's good. It looks really... Should it be more like this, maybe? This is good. Hidden. Can I make... How can I... Yeah, hidden. Okay, good. Now we have a pumpkin here. And I don't really do sculpting, so bear with me here. I have the wrong mouse as well. This is not going to go well. Or maybe it will. What's the timer? I'm not sure how much time I've used. Perhaps I should... No, I can't really add it later since it's a live stream. Yeah, I think this is good. No, I don't really think it's good. It's something. It's really hollow. Okay, so we've been streaming for 2 hours now. I should... I need to get to the other... There we go. Okay, there. Now... As you can probably tell, I'm not good at sculpting. Probably would have helped to apply that first. That's stupid. Let's just do it like this. Okay, so if anyone is wondering what I'm doing, is that I'm trying to make a pumpkin really fast, but it's not ending up being that fast. So I'm just trying to do it for the challenge, because we have a challenge on the Discord channel where you can make a Halloween themed render. And there is a chance that your render will be significantly better than this one. So I'm looking forward to see what you will create. Now let's give this a pumpkin material. Pumpkin. It's a glossy, and it's this one. No! What was the... Oh, I have to do it like this then. Let's make it glossy. Now I'm going to do something that I haven't really done, I think. This will be fast. Okay, smooth gradient background. And then we get the pumpkin. And this one. Maybe a little bit of a spotlight. There we go. And then we have to make a light inside. I think I'm just going to make a point light inside the pumpkin. And I'm just going to make this a little bit darker. And I want to make... perhaps we don't need a spotlight. Yeah, we need it a little bit. Oh, this has to be a thing. I feel like I'm running out of time. I have to be... Okay, now let's move this here. Okay, that's interesting. Do we need that? Yeah, we do. The silhouette here could be better. And the light in the center is pretty good, I think. Let's do some surface scattering. Okay, I could try. Perhaps it could be really cool if the light is emitting from inside the pumpkin. Have to apply this first. So yeah, the subsurfing scattering, that's a good idea. Because let's make a spotlight from inside the pumpkin. Let's make it really bright. Let's get rid of this. And let's make a really large volumetric. C? Yeah. Okay. This should be really cool. Yeah, you see that? It's not coming through probably, but... Yeah, so we have this... Was this not that good of an idea? I think it was. So let's... I have to make this wire. So like this. So now we can take these... that. Hey, why isn't this what? why is there a line there? Oh, because there is. Doesn't really make sense, but. Oh, now we're like in a lake or something. Am I right? Yeah. Perhaps we can make this a little bit blue. Blue. And yeah, volumetric really helped. That's a good idea. Increase density of volume, perhaps. Yeah, but it's annoying that you wrote it like 5 times. The volumetric might need more tweaking, but we might be onto something here. Maybe we can make the ground where's the height? Oh, there it is. There we go. I'm just using the same techniques for everything all the time. Okay, so we are certainly turning this into a really large pumpkin in the moonlight. The light inside has to be warm. We'll use nodes for the light. That's wrong. Okay, there we go. I'm not sure if this is going to be interesting to watch for anyone else, but if it's any help, I'm having a good time. Okay, good. Now perhaps we should try and do, yeah, Voronoi textures to the rescue. That happens all the time. So now let's do a depth of field. Perhaps not too much, because then it just gets washed away. Yeah, and then let's place the camera closer to the water, like it's a... Perhaps we could use the space texture that we made earlier. Wouldn't that be like a beautiful circular composition? Let me try that. Append. Can I do that? Was that the untitled? And then world? And then world. So now if I go to world, then I can change. There we go. And now we're in space. Oh my god, that's fast. And now we can set this to shader, add shader, and then a transparent. So it will get transparent. Look at this. Our water needs to be much bigger. And then much smaller. 200. Okay, nice. This is turning out okay, I think. But I think maybe that this texture... Oh, look at this. We can get like a moonlight effect. See that? It's like this fake... No, let's try and put it back where it was. It's just this haze. Yeah, we want it to be this spooky haze, I think. Let's do a test render and see what we've got. I'm not sure what this is going to be. Yeah, the stars are not working. We have to rework them a little bit. Let's actually do that right away. Let's go to the world stars. What's great about stars and Star Wars is you can write it with just one hand. It's amazing. You didn't need that information. Let's set it to maybe a little bit bigger. Like, can we render here while we're running there? Yeah. And then 34. 55. No, we have to make this one a little bit sharper. Like that. Yeah, I think this is it. because now what we can do is we can rotate our camera a little bit more. Yeah, and we have this beautiful haze, which I really like, but we have to move it back and then scale it up. Or no, we don't actually. Yeah, it's this volumetric haze. It's important. Yeah, I think that's quite cool. Literally cool. Let's look. Ooh, this is going to need to render for a while, but we're onto something. Yeah, we're onto something. I'm just going to do the least amount of effort to get this done, which is increase the samples, 1024. Let's turn off the noise threshold for now. Let's do the same thing for the compositor. But we can actually do that while we're rendering, I think. Yeah, so let's go to the compositor, and for the third time, let's just do the same thing. Oh, that was fast. Perhaps this is a real speedrun thing. I should get like the splits and stuff like that, like the pros have. Okay. Perhaps a little bit more depth of field, the camera. Or, I mean, yeah, lower. I don't know. 1024 samples is too much. Let's do 500. Okay. We're on frame 3. I don't know. Okay, I think I think it's a spooky pumpkin. Yeah, we could do a missed pass, but I'm thinking that this cheating is good enough for now. Because this looks, for some reason, this looks huge. This looks like it could be 50 meters tall, I think. And these stars are a little bit weird. Perhaps they should be smaller. Yeah, the stars look very unnatural. We have to just fix them. Let's cancel this. Yeah, we're just about to be finished now, I think. But the stars, yeah, these have to be fixed. They have to be smaller. 12 and 45. Yeah. That's how it's gonna be. Should we do anything with the liquid? Oh, it's minus. One. I think it's still too much. Yeah, now we're getting somewhere. Perhaps a little bit more. There we go, and then 0.7. I'm tweaking things too much now. Let's just see what this... there's the first... Stars in the first one looking better, actually. Okay, let's see. It will probably it's too smooth. Yeah, perhaps this water is too smooth. I'm not sure. Was it rougher? I feel like this could be real water. It's a little bit difficult. Yeah, perhaps it's too wide angle. I'm not sure. We can maybe we can do some. It might help to do the compositing. Subsurface to the pumpkin, but I'm not sure if that would be required because it's so big. The pumpkin is like really big. Like I imagine that this is 3 or 4 meters, like floating in the water. No stars reflected in the water. It's unreal. I don't think that it's unreal actually, because if it's a little bit of ripples like this, doesn't really. Okay, I think we're getting somewhere. The noisy image is looking better than the denoised. Okay, let's save this and do a I want to actually save it as a PNG. Pumpkin render version 1. I want to save it as a PNG because there are some compositing things you can do which is not available in with if you have too much highlight. For example, if you want yeah, let me just finish my if you have too bright areas, things like the sharpening filter doesn't work properly. So I want to do some sharpening, some diamond sharpening. And then some, yeah, maybe that's actually all I want to do. Some medium high contrast. Perhaps just a noise texture. I'm going to be quick, I promise. This is the last thing. Texture, noise. Noise. What I like to do is to translate it by a value. No, transform, distort, transform. I like to translate it by a value of 2 and then blur it. So you get like a little bit of a, see that? Oh, look at this. See this? This is like film grain. Oh, let's call this compositing pumpkin. And then the color ramp is like this, and then it's set to ease. No, it's actually linear. No, it's a little bit lower. Yeah, and then the mix should be linear light, and then just super weak. Like, really weak. No, what was it that I used the last time? Was it overlay? Overlay is good for highlights, but then you have to do like this. It's too much here. We have to make it. Yeah, this might not show up in a YouTube video. Here's what I was doing. I was adding the blur first and then transforming it. And then maybe blurring it one more time. The point with this is just to get some subtle noise on top of this. But I think I was using linear light. Yeah, I was. But it's like this. And then maybe bokeh. Does that matter? I'm not sure. I think now we're onto something. Just a little bit of noise. It doesn't really matter. But now when you start really increasing the sharpening, perhaps it was better before the sharpening. I've wasted my time, sorry. Why not use the noise image? Yeah, it's because I want the noise to be like on top, like it was an original film, but I have forgotten my settings. So I should perhaps try and do this sometime when I remember it. Now I might be onto something, but I'm not sure. Yeah, this does not work at all. Oh, this is the thing. The transform should not be here. I feel like this is more similar to what I had. Yeah, because look at this. You get this cool looking fall off here. If you just tweak this right. See that? You get this fall off between this is bright and then this is dark. And then you get this noise pattern in this. So it's a really nice way to break up banding. That's what I've been trying to do. But I forgot that I was just using the blur. I didn't scale it up. So now this actually looks a lot smoother. Yeah, and then the sharpening is after. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think we're onto something. And then sometimes I also like to use, to duplicate this and use an overlay as well. Because the linear light takes the shadows and then an overlay takes the highlights. Let's get rid of this for now. And let's have a look. The overlays. So what I'm doing now is that I'm adding noise just to break up the image. And this isn't that important to do with stills. But with video, this is really helpful. Because this noise texture, which is found here, this updates every frame. So it's a really nice way to just get that organic digital look to your render after you've used the denoiser. Because the denoiser is extremely aggressive in some cases. Yeah, and then I'm moving the diamond sharpen back and forth between watching what it looks like before the noise and after, trying to decide which one I want to use. But yeah, now I think this looks quite cool with a little bit of noise. I might actually want to... I wish this was a little bit softer. Just the entire image. Can I just actually just blur the entire image just a little bit? I think I want to do that. And then add the sharpen afterwards. Yeah, that looks cool. First it's blurred and then it's sharpened. It doesn't make sense, but it just feels more... It feels less CG, you know? No, it doesn't. It has to be... Okay. I'm happy. Let's save this. It's an okay render. Pumpkin beauty. Okay, great. Should I do that as a pumpkin? Where's the pumpkin beauty? There it is. By the way, I'm using No Mac Image Lounge to preview pictures. It's really fast and I can really recommend it. There we go. That's it. I really hope you enjoyed the stream. I can recommend that you check out the Discord server, which is it's still increasing in members just on this live stream, because we are doing a Spooktober thing. This is my submission, I think. Really big pumpkin. Or, yeah, I don't know. So I can recommend that you check that out. That's the Poll If Your Viewport community. We actually got a Discord partner, so that's good, really good. It is actually quite nice to have it. We get some nice resources and some chats. And then I can recommend that if you want to get access to my project files, you can check out the Patreon. And then, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to my channel. Look at this, Casual Blender stream. Because I am working on a big video. I'm also working on something else that I might announce next week. I think it's next week, yeah. So stay tuned for next week. It might have something to do with not only digital stuff on this channel. Merch. It will be merch. I'm planning to release it next week. But we'll see. So yeah. Thanks so much for watching. Should I try and run an ad? No. Insert ad. Create highlight video. Add a stream marker. I don't know what that is. Sneak peek. Yeah, sorry, I don't really have a sneak peek for the merch. Actually, I have been wearing the merch. There's one t-shirt I've been wearing, which doesn't look like merch, but Yeah. Okay. Let's. I'll try and do another ad, and then I'll end the stream. I haven't really tried it before. Yeah, ad inserted. It says. I'm not sure. Does it block? Can you still hear me when I'm running the ad? I'm not sure. How long is it? Is it just a banner? Is it? I don't know. And not everyone will get it, I think. Okay, yeah. So the stream is about to end. I just wanted to let you know that. Oh, hey, one funny thing we can do. Can someone challenge me to a 1+0 on lichess, so we can play some chess? My username is Polyfjord. If you're on lichess, send me a challenge with for a 1+0 bullet. We can try that. That would be cool. I mean, perhaps no one is using lichess. I don't know. Challenges. No challenges. Perhaps it takes... Oh! Yes! Supercomputer! Okay. Oh! Yeah, let's try supercomputer. Casual. Okay. I play the black pieces. Oh! No! Lost the pawn. So, does this make... No, I should focus. I'm not really sure what I'm doing, by the way. That was not good. Oh. Oh, yes. Ha. Or... Nah, it... Ah. Well, if you've never played chess before, this is probably not that interesting to watch. But if you've never said bit loose before, it is probably interesting to watch. Yeah, I'm not that good at chess. I think I'm gonna have to... Oh no. Ha. Check. No. Yeah, you could have moved your queen there, I think. Okay, so yeah, thank you for the game. Good game. Thank you. We'll challenge you soon. Okay, so make... Oh, it was you. Nice. Thanks for watching the stream. Let me know if you want to see more kind of casual streams. I have a good setup now to just start a random stream and just make some tutorial requests. So yeah, that's it. Other than that, look for I think one video next week, maybe, and then the glass tutorial. I've been working on it for a while. It will be nice. I'll try to make it really good. I'll try to make it good for beginners as well. Okay, I'm gonna end the stream. I'm not sure how to do that, but I'll figure it out. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.